$40. Gone. Crispy, brown, dead in the pot. That's what was waiting for you the day you finally checked. And the worst part? You had good intentions. This year was supposed to be different. Water every morning, no excuses. For a few days you actually did it. Then work got crazy. Your back gave out. It got hot. The stand in the shade and still sweat kind of hot. 2 weeks vanished without you noticing. Honestly, you weren't the only thing wilting out there. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly which plants don't punish you for having a life. Here's what nobody tells you. It's not your energy. It's not your schedule. It's not your gardening skills. You're just planting the wrong things. A beautiful garden doesn't need daily babysitting. It needs plants tough enough to survive without it. In this video, 9 perennials made for tired gardeners. Plants that come back every year. Survive mist watering. Grow in the spots nothing else will. And give you way more beauty than the effort they ask for. Stay with me, because plant number 7 is one of the toughest perennials I've ever seen. Heat barely slows it down, bad soil barely slows it down, almost nothing does. Plant number 1, Hosta. Got a shady corner where everything else gives up and dies? This plant might save it. Plant number 1 is Hosta. Picture big, overlapping leaves, blue-green, gold, sun-striped, piling into a lush mound that gets bigger every year. It doesn't ask for sun. It barely asks for anything. Here's why tired gardeners love it. Once it's settled, Hosta comes back every spring, needs almost no pruning and shrugs off a mist watering. Its leaves shade out the soil underneath, which chokes out weeds before they even show up. Zones 3 through 9. Moist, rich soil. It does its best work in the spot you've already given up on. Just watch for slugs. That's its one weakness. Got a dark, forgotten corner? Hosta makes it look intentional. Plant number 2, Daylily. This one's for anyone who's killed more plants than they'd like to admit. Meet the Daylily, or the dilly, if you ask some gardeners. This thing does not quit. Rocky soil, clay soil, dry patches where nothing else survives. The Daylily just settles in and gets on with it. Here's what makes it foolproof. Its thick roots store their own water and energy, so a mist watering barely registers. No dividing needed, no pruning needed. It just spreads, clumps up, and blooms, year after year, with almost zero input from you. And it's not just surviving. Those root systems bind the soil together, making daylilies one of the best plants for stopping erosion on slopes. It's doing landscaping work while you do nothing. Zones 3 through 9. Tolerant of almost any soil you throw at it. If you've never kept a plant alive past one summer, start here. Plant number 3. Purple Coneflower, Echinacea. You don't just want a plant that survives, you want one that gives you something back. Plant number 3 is the purple coneflower, Echinacea. Picture tall, daisy-like blooms in deep pink and purple, standing strong through the hottest weeks of summer. This isn't a delicate flower that wilts the second the sun gets serious. Its roots dig deep, pulling up moisture other plants can't reach, so it keeps blooming when everything else is struggling. But here's the bonus. You're not just getting color, you're getting butterflies and bees all summer. And when fall hits, those spent flower heads turn into a natural bird feeder. Finches love the seeds. Even after the blooms fade, the plant is still doing something. Want it flowering longer? Snip spent blooms down to the next set of leaves. That little trick pushes out a second wave of flowers instead of leaving you with bare, ugly stems. Zones 3 through 9. Full sun, well-drained soil, drought-tolerant once established. Color, wildlife, and winter interest, from one plant that basically runs itself. The first 3 were the easy wins. But the next group is where this list really starts pulling its weight. Coming up. A plant that performs better when you leave it alone. A plant that can cut your weeding down for good. And plant number 7. The one I told you is almost impossible to defeat. If you're already mentally picking which ones are going in your yard, subscribe. There's 4 more coming, and the best one's still ahead. Plant number 4. Autumn Joy, Sedum. Plant number 4 might be perfect for tired gardeners, because too much attention actually makes it perform worse. Meet Autumn Joy Sedum. This plant is built differently. It holds water in thick, fleshy leaves, and it keeps its pores closed during the day to save moisture, only opening them at night. That means it shrugs off dry spells that would wreck most other perennials. Here's the twist. Sedum wants lean, poor, even rocky soil. Fertilize it or water it too much, and the stems grow soft and weak. Those big flower heads just flop right over. Neglect isn't just tolerated here. It's the secret to keeping this plant looking its best. You get thick, star-shaped flower clusters that start pale green, then shift to deep pink, then rust red as autumn rolls in. One of the few perennials that actually gets more interesting as the season winds down. Zones 3 through 9. Full sun, sharp drainage, basically nothing else required. Just don't be too good to it. Plant number 5, Baptisia, false indigo. What if your problem isn't sun, and it isn't drought? What if the real issue is soil so poor and worn out that nothing seems willing to grow there? Plant number 5 is Baptisia, false indigo. This plant sends a deep taproot far below where most roots ever reach. That's exactly why it barely notices dry spells or thin, exhausted soil. Better yet, Baptisia teams up with bacteria in the soil to pull its own nitrogen from thin air, so you never need to feed it. Above ground, tall shrub-like spikes of blue-purple flowers in late spring, followed by seed pods that rattle in the wind and add structure well into fall. It fills out the back of a bed and just stays there, bigger and more impressive every year. One thing to know, that deep taproot means Baptisia hates being moved. Plant it once, pick the spot carefully, and let it become permanent. Zones 3 through 9. Full sun, well-drained soil, low fertility preferred. If your soil is the problem, this plant doesn't care. We're more than halfway through, but don't leave yet. The next 4 include the plant that finally delivers on the promise I made at the very start, a ground cover that can seriously cut your weeding down, and one last perennial that brings height, movement, and beauty to the garden in every single season. Plant number 6, Black-Eyed Susan. Plant number 6 is one of the most overlooked perennials on this list. That's surprising, because it solves a problem almost every gardener fights with: bare, patchy soil that never seems to fill in. Meet Black-Eyed Susan. This plant establishes fast, faster than most perennials you'll ever plant. It handles heavy clay, dry stretches, and rough conditions that make other plants sulk. Instead of struggling, it spreads and fills the gaps in your beds with cheerful yellow blooms and deep brown centers. Here's why that matters. Every bit of bare soil it covers is one less spot for weeds to take hold. It's doing double duty, looking good and locking out competition at the same time. Just like the coneflower, you can deadhead it down to the next leaf to stretch the blooms from midsummer into late autumn. One thing to watch, it self-seeds and spreads readily. If you want it contained, give it a border to bump up against. Zones 3 through 9. Full sun, adaptable soil. Got ugly gaps in your garden? This is the plant that quietly fills them in. Plant number 7, Russian Sage. Plant number 7. Here it is, the one I told you to wait for. Meet Russian Sage. Picture tall, silvery stems that glow in the evening light, topped with clouds of small lavender blue flowers that move with every breath of wind. It doesn't just sit in the garden, it sways, it shimmers, and by midsummer it turns into a soft blue haze that neighbors will stop and ask you about. Here's why it earns the top spot. This plant survives drought without blinking. It thrives in poor, rocky soil that would starve most flowers. Deer and rabbits leave it alone. The same fragrant oils that smell so good to us smell like a warning sign to them. Those oils do double duty. When the sun hits the leaves, they evaporate and cool the plant from the inside. It flowers for months. It needs almost no fertilizer, and the less you manage it, the better it performs. Heavy feeding just makes it floppy and weak. Looks like something that demands a professional on speed dial. In reality, it might be the single easiest plant on this entire list. One tip, taller varieties can split open in the middle as they mature, so plant it alongside something sturdy for support. Zones 3 through 9. Full sun, sharp drainage, and patience while it gets going. This is the plant that makes people think you know what you're doing. Plant number 8. Creeping Phlox. Plant number 8 doesn't just survive neglect. It takes one of the most exhausting jobs in the garden completely off your plate: weeding. Meet creeping phlox. This plant grows low and spreads wide, forming a dense, evergreen mat that hugs the ground and crowds out anything trying to sprout beneath it. No sunlight reaches weed seeds, so they never get the chance to start. Less light on the soil means less time on your knees every weekend. In spring, it explodes into a carpet of pink, purple, or white flowers, so thick you can barely see the leaves underneath. Then it settles back into a tidy, low-green mat that holds its shape the rest of the year, working quietly in the background. It's especially useful on slopes, rocky borders, or anywhere awkward or unsafe to mow. Instead of fighting that space every season, let the phlox take it over completely. Zones 3 through 9. Full sun, sharp drainage. It won't wipe out every weed forever, but it'll dramatically cut down how often you're out there pulling them. Plant number 9. Amsonia. I saved plant number 9 for last, because it does something most flowering perennials can't. It keeps earning its place in your garden long after the flowers are gone. Meet Amsonia. Bluestar. In spring, soft clusters of pale blue, star-shaped flowers open along upright stems, bringing some of the earliest color to the garden. Through summer, it settles into a graceful, fine-textured mound of feathery green foliage that adds movement and softness to any bed. Then autumn arrives, and this plant transforms completely. Its foliage turns a rich, glowing gold that can outshine almost everything else in the yard. Its deeply rooted and well-drained soil keeps it thriving without much input from you at all. No dividing, no staking. It just gets fuller, wider, and more impressive every year. And here's the maintenance payoff worth remembering. One cutback in early spring. That's it. That's the entire relationship. Zones 3 through 9. Adaptable to sun or partial shade, moist to average soil. For one small job a year, you get color in spring, texture in summer, and gold in autumn. That's an incredible trade for a tired gardener. Let's make this easy. Shady corner? Start with Hosta. Poor, dry soil, where you just don't trust yourself to water consistently? Daylily, Sedum, and Baptisia will ask almost nothing of you. Want one showstopper plant? Go with Russian sage. Weeds your biggest headache? Black-eyed Susan and creeping phlox will do the work for you. And if you want a plant that still looks good after everything else has gone quiet for the year, finish with Bluestar. You don't need endless free time. You don't need perfect knees, a flawless watering schedule, or years of experience. You don't need a green thumb you were never born with. You just need to stop choosing plants that demand more than you consistently give, and start choosing ones built to survive real life. Busy weeks, bad backs, forgotten watering cans. That's it. That's the whole secret. Don't plant all 9 at once. That's how you end up overwhelmed. Right back where you started. Pick 2 or 3 that match what your garden actually struggles with. Get them in the ground this season. Give them time to settle in, and watch how much easier the whole thing becomes. Imagine stepping outside next summer, coffee still warm in your hand, and seeing color where there used to be bare, tired soil. Bees drifting from flower to flower, plants coming back on their own without you starting over every spring. No guilt about the ones you forgot to water. No trips back to the garden center for replacements. Just a yard that looks alive, looks intentional, looks like it took way more effort than it actually did, because this time, the plants were doing the work, not you. This channel is about building a beautiful garden without letting it run your life. If that's what you need, subscribe. More simple, practical ideas made for real people with real schedules, not professional landscapers with unlimited time. One last thing before you go. Which of these 9 is going in your garden first? Tell me in the comments.